तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो जो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ आपो ज्योति रसोमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवस्वरो हरिः ॐ।
Good morning, my friends. Thank you. Joyce, please.
Can you tell us the story behind Goddess Gayatri and how she got her 5 heads?
Well, the 5 heads are said to be, there are many different, different stories. Again, it's an oral tradition that's taken place over thousands of years, and many different sages have channeled their version of the story. So often the 5 heads are said to represent the Vedas, which are the root of this culture. Ved means to know, and the Vedas are the ancient esoteric ravings, ecstatic ravings of these forest sages about the unity and divinity of life. And there are traditionally 4 Vedas which carry this body of wisdom, so that she represents the Godhead in the 4 Vedas. This is the most common interpretation. Then the next level of interpretation is that she represents the vayus, the winds, the movements that underlie creation. That creation is a movement. One of the names of the Creator is the Lord of Movement. And that there's just a oneness in this creation, this one breath of life, but it precipitates into 5 stages of creation, which we call typically the 5 winds or the 5 elements of ether, air, fire, water, and earth, each becoming more dense and more material. So earth supports boundary and supports structure, and anything that's solid resonates with this keynote of earth. And water is fluidity, medium for life. Fire is directed energy, creative energy. Air is the intelligence, the feedback mechanism. And ether is the space, the harmony. So whenever you have creation, you have a form, a limit, a boundary, a structure, a medium, a living vehicle for life. The fire, the transformational, the creative, the working energy. The air, the intelligence in the overall space as part of larger space of ether. Okay? So her 5 heads represent these 5 winds that blow through creation, these 5 rivers of life. Prana. Pra means to go forth. Ana, the breath that goes forth. The yang, the spiraling, the centrifugal breath of life. Here's this prana right here, pregnant with mystery, pregnant with divinity. And the apana, the contraction. And life is breathing, creating and dying to this moment, creating and precipitating. Tamas rules precipitation. The apan, precipitation into form, crystallization of this consciousness into form, and then also the cleansing. Tamas rules the art, wisdom that allows this energy to become knowledge and to crystallize into form. Tamas rules a discriminating wisdom that underlies art and science and creation. So our 5 heads symbolize these 5 rivers of life that we call the 5 vayus or the 5 elements that are the basis of the science of the ancients. All the ancient cultures worked with these 5 elements of earth and water. And whether we call them east or south, west, north, or whether we call them air, fire, water, earth, or whether we call them yang and yin, we're talking about these same intelligences, these same rivers of life, the same crystallization of the one life as it dances into creation and then dances back to oneness.
Also like the Upana, Udana, Samana.
Yes, these are the traditional names of these 5 vayus, these 5 winds. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful question. And the central face is this the face of Saraswati, who's also known as Vak Devi, Vak, the power of the voice, the power of the holy word, and the fundamental nature of the holy word as the foundation, the fundamental nature of the word, of vibration, of the breath, carrying creativity as the root, the seed of creation. And so Vakdevi is another name of Saraswati. The embodiment. And again, this is one way of looking at these things. Each person you ask will tell you something a little bit different from a little different perspective that will add to it in another way. Good question.
Thank you.
Gayatri is said to be the secret esoteric mantra of the priestly caste. It is one of the most venerated mantras in creation. And I think for most of us, we've gotten hooked into it because we experience its power. So please don't let me not get caught up in sanctimony, say, oh, this is very ancient and very holy. If you find it useful, work with it. Okay? If you find it useful, if you find that you feel it transforms your heart and mind, work with it. Please don't. Please only trust your own experience in this moment, and as you give it a chance and cultivate it, please. Her central aspect is Saraswati. Saraswati is also called Vak Devi, goddess of the voice, goddess of the holy word, because song is so primordial. And she again is the Shakti, the feminine aspect of Brahma, the creator, and the Shakti as the 5 vayus, the 5 winds, the 5 elements that are the 5 keynotes that underlie creation. Solidity, cross-culturally and trans-historically, the science of the ancients has been based upon the elements. And whether we're talking about 5 elements like we do in traditional Chinese medicine, wood, metal, fire, water, earth, or whether we're talking about the 5 elements of East Indian philosophy, ether, air, fire, water, earth, or whether we're talking about the triguna of Ayurveda, kapha, pitta, vayu, or whether we're talking about yin and yang, fire and water, where air is considered the relationship between them, or whether we're talking about the 4 directions, or whether we're talking about Yad He Vahi, Jehovah. We're talking about these same elements that were at the root of the science of the ancients, who understood the world was a vibration. They were pure enough to directly experience this vibrational universe. So everything that's solid resonates with this keynote that we call earth, that sustains boundaries in form. The most fluid dynamic of creation, fluidity, is the vehicle for life, and all things that are alive are essentially a container for this fluidity of this great purity that we call life. Within life, there's directed energy, creative, transformational energy, which is fire. And the Sanskrit word for fire is tejas, which means the razor sharpness of this creative intelligence to fashion every molecule and cell from heartbeat to heartbeat in its perfection. So fire is, again, is the transformational energy of this omnipresent intelligence. Air is the feedback mechanism, the mind that allows this dynamic to move. And ether is the overall sonic space of a vibrational universe, and the incredible wholeness that's inherent in everything as it balances its internal wholeness with the wholeness of the fabric of life around it. Later, as we have more time, we'll go more deeply into the dynamics of the breath and how the breath sustains these keynotes. So now we're focusing on Vakdevi, we're focusing on our 5 vayus, and we're asking, how do I commune with the primordial level of intelligence that underlies this creation, the fundamental harmony? Because what do physicists tell us? Everything is defined by its standing wave, by its inherent song, by its inherent harmony. On the most fundamental level, this creation is music. How do we commune with this primordial intelligence, this primordial music? So we have personified this great truth in the goddess Gayatri. Gayatri refers to the underlying rhythm that underlies all Sanskrit chanting. Virtually all Sanskrit chanting is in the rhythm, the meter of Gayatri. Gayatri is understood to be the mother of creation, as the feminine aspect, the Shakti of Brahma. Now, the reason that I chant the Gayatri Devi is because it's very powerful. It really gives me a lot of light. It really opens up my crown chakra, and I found it very quick, easy, convenient, and powerful. It works. And that's how I got into chanting it, and I've been happy to share it, and I've noticed that when other people work with it, it's really, really amazing. I tried to chant the Gayatri 108 times out loud at least once a week as a way of tuning my body up, and it really helps me be pretty happy most all the time to really stay in a space of soul communion. So we're doing an initiation, self-initiation into Gayatri mantra. I'd originally approached Amma, the hugging Devi, to ask for initiation into Gayatri, and they said I'd have to give up my other teacher, take her for my teacher for all eternity. And I love my old teacher in India. I'm not going to give her up. I'm bubblegum on her sandal. She is going to give me So I was with my wife, and she fell in love with this Siddha, this guru with a lot of powers in South India. We were with him. A man was presenting an elephant to a temple, and we were on stage with him. We were his white elephants. We traveled with him to show the Western devotees. And so he calls me up and he says, "Do you know the Gayatri mantra?" And he whispers it in my ear, which is the traditional way of initiation. So then I got up to the lectern and I chanted Gayatri. So I took that as an initiation. But then I was in Sri Lanka. My teacher was writing a book about Skanda, about Subramanian, who is a very popular deity in South India. Very interesting because in the legends of India, one of the root legends is the struggle between light and darkness. And Vishnu, which means the all-pervasive, the power of equilibrium. Vishnu, and the gods are androgynous. Vishnu becomes the most beautiful woman you can imagine, Mohini, the enchantress. And he is so beautiful, he turns on Shiva, who ends up having like a wet dream, ends up spilling some sperm, which gives birth to Skanda. So Skanda is the child of these two gods, Vishnu and Shiva, and is very popular in South India. He always has his vehicle is the peacock, and he's a great general. So she was writing a book about the sons of Shiva, and so we were going to this temple, which is in some sort of sacred geometrical relationship to the Himalayan temples, to Mount Kailash. And so she wanted to visit this temple, and there was a war going on in Sri Lanka, and I was the only one foolish enough to go with her. So after we visited the temple, we went to a place called the City of Light. It was actually where the demon Ravana had his empire in this great war of an earlier epic. And there someone told us about a Gayatri temple, and so the first thing, we hopped over there in the evening, and we met this old Dr. Murgeso. I said, Doctor, would you chant the Gayatri for me? I want to hear it from your lips, as a man who's devoted his life to it. And he said, come tomorrow morning at dawn, and I'll initiate you. So I ran to the market, and I got the paraphernalia that I need, flowers and fruit, and cloth and incense. And we came early in the morning, and he initiated me. So, but I won't. But he died shortly after that. They say that when you initiate someone, you take on their karma. So I'm not going to be initiating anyone this morning. But in any case, we have some very authentic chanting here of the Gayatri. I have my dear teacher from India. Let me just show you her picture, if I can find it here. Vanamali Mataji. Here's my dear teacher from India. Oops, where are you? Vanamali Mataji. Okay, and she is going to be initiating us into the Gayatri mantra this morning. We're going to be chanting it very slowly with her first.
Om Bho Bhuva Swaha Om Tat Savito Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yana
The meaning of the mantra, I usually translate it, let us commune with this luminous light of consciousness that's right here, that sustains all the worlds, that it may inspire our liberation. This is a prayer not to the sun, but to the intelligence that illuminates the sun, the feminine aspect of the sun, the Shakti that manifests through the sun, which is called Savatur. So Savitri is the masculine and Savatur is the feminine. So this is a prayer to that which is worthy of worship, that which illuminates the sun herself, that is right here, that when through our communion with it, it may inspire our liberation. So we go Om, which is the ground state of all creation, that in the same way that the teeniest resonance of DNA has within it the resonant potency to manifest this incredibly complex body. Om has within it the resonant potency to manifest infinite universes. So Om is the ground state. So we go Om, and then Bhur, earth, Bhuva, heaven, Swaha, that which transcends everything. And then Tat Savatur Varanium, that power that illuminates the sun and transcends that as well, that which is worthy of worship. We can't even name it, but that which is worthy of worship. And of course it's translated in many different ways. So let us commune with the luminous light of life that sustains all the worlds, that it may inspire our liberation. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May peace and justice prevail on earth. We dedicate our efforts to the healing of humanity, to the healing of our world, to the vision of a springtime of humanity, a leap in consciousness of humanity, where all humanity realizes the sacredness and unity of all life, where we care for our Mother Earth as our own mother, where we share with each other as brothers and sisters for all our relations. Hari Om Tat Sat.
आवाज मत करो जरा. भूर्भुवः स्वाहा तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो जो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ आपो ज्योति रसोऽमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवस्वरो. हरिः ॐ.
ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ओम Sham